All right. Hello and welcome to Startups in Real Life. We are in week 4 of a 10-week, 2 times a week discussion with Rae Hames to talk about all things startup. If you have any insights, support, advice, we would love to hear it. Drop us a message and we'll connect. All right, let's get to it. Good morning, Rae, or
Morning.
evening. I'm sorry, I do that
Afternoon,
every
midday,
time. Yeah.
morning your
Um,
time.
yeah, morning my time, afternoon your time. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I am back from a couple days off late last week, which was lovely, and getting back into the rhythm. Definitely gave me some relief actually to hear you say that we're only in week 4 of 10 because I feel like time is moving really quickly.
Yeah.
And hearing that, I was like, yes, we still have time.
We do. We're okay. We're doing all right. All right. So last week we announced the company, which was very exciting for us. And thanks to my friends and colleagues for all the support. I thought it was nice to get that. And
Great.
what I thought today we could do is kind of dig into who are the people that we're trying to help, and and go into some of the details about that. So maybe
Yeah,
we could
definitely.
start with what does the ideal customer look like in the world of Timera?
Yeah, well, I think, and it's a good question because when we talk about kind of freelance management, there's a lot of different audiences involved. Certainly, there's the freelancers themselves. But ultimately, what we're building is a tool that's designed for brands who are working with teams of freelancers, anywhere between 5 and 50 freelancers. Like,
Mhm.
there's so many companies out there that are trending towards using more flexible talent options. And their team sizes are increasing. We know this, whether it's driven through the trend of bringing marketing teams in-house, whether it's driven by just being cautious about like the crazy economy and not necessarily wanting to hire full-time staff. There's a lot of reasons why brands are relying more and more on freelance talent. And what we found that is, through all of our research, through customer interviews,
Mhm.
general trends, is like there's a massive percentage of brands out there that are really just operating their freelance management in spreadsheets. And that's who we're trying to help. I think that when you get above a certain threshold, if you're managing 25, 50, 75, hundreds of freelancers, there are enterprise tools that at that scale, the company is probably big enough that they're already building systems for themselves to
Mhm.
manage their contract workforce. But for companies who are just starting to toe into a more flexible approach to their teams, that's what we're built for. And this is like based on even my personal background, like the last company that we started literally started in spreadsheets of freelancers that me and my co-founder knew. And so I've really been there. And I think that what I'm really excited that to bring Timera to the world to offer are tools that not only help customers of that size build freelance teams more effectively, automated contacting their teams, getting folks schedules, understanding who's available, who's on budget, and over time, making those teams really sophisticated based on their skill sets, based on their personal interests, certainly based on diversity stats, like who's behind the lens makes a huge difference in the world of marketing, and we really want to make a dent in helping solve that need. And I think that the other piece that we've heard throughout a lot of our customer interviews is just being able to keep tabs on folks that anybody within a department has enjoyed working with, and bringing that knowledge to have a kind of like central repository of talent knowledge that anybody within a brand side team can benefit from when they're trying to build product teams for themselves.
It was yesterday, not yesterday, last week, Stacy and I kind of went into this a little bit, and I'd like to dig a little further on that. Like, think about it. When, let's say that there's a team that or a person that you've worked with a year ago, and you're trying to remember, like, where's their contact information, or, what project was it they worked on? If you think about it, like okay, where are you going to go? Oh, you go to HR. Okay, but what part is HR going to know? They're going to maybe know the contact info,
Right.
but what about the actual project they worked on, or the budget, or what was their rates? That may or may not be in HR. Then you got to go to finance. So now you're talking finance.
Yeah.
if you're on a
Yeah.
medium-sized company,
Yeah.
and then you get that information out of finance, but that might take a week because you're the lowest priority on their list, in that regard, right? So there's so many pieces, right? And all you're
Yes.
trying to do is get a hold of, that person.
It's a really basic need. I've heard the exact same story in interviews that I've done. Super common for say you build a website. You built a website 2 years ago. You had a freelance UX designer work on it. They were awesome. Your marketing manager at the time brought them in because they had worked with them at a past agency, and your friend's got a friend got a friend.
Mhm.
It's time to do a refresh of your website, and you'd love to work with that person, not only because they did great work, but also because they already kind of know your brand. They've already been
Right.
through not just technical onboarding, but like they're aware of your company, they're aware of the structure, they're aware of your, general product lineup. And you can't for your life remember their name. And the marketing manager that brought them in the first place has left to take a new job.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
And some of these things, that we're trying to solve for are really basic. It's like, you could call it an intelligent Rolodex, but that has a massive amount of value when every creative director I've ever worked with gets in touch with their freelance folks literally through texting.
Mhm.
Yeah. Saying, "Oh, it's time. I need a concepting team. I need a designer, and I need a copywriter to help me prep for this next pitch. Let me text up, Brad and Casey to see what they're up to." That's not an efficient way of managing teams, especially at scale. I think like I said, when we're talking about who we're trying to help, it's not necessarily companies that are bringing freelancers in on the fly once or twice a month, because honestly, texting might be faster than that. But when you're trying to build teams of 5, 10, 15 people for larger scale projects, absolutely, you'll be able to benefit from time savings, and just overall information being all in one place about your team from
Mhm.
Teamera.
Mhm. And it's giving kind of the business department or division the power, to have it all in their own,
Sure.
space. Because
Yeah.
even within that, I mean, we haven't talked about this piece yet as much, but being able to, not just manage that team as a unit, but then over time to start to measure that team. And we'll talk about that in the future.
Yeah.
But, by having all that data right there in front of you, you can now start to kind of drop in, okay, what are we investing in, and did it pay off?
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think
which I
that's just
really am
another
excited to
piece.
talk about
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
line.
But okay, so what are some of the other pain points that this kind of persona or customer, I'm sorry, looks like?
Yeah, I think macro pain points that we've heard across the board from every company that we've spoken to, either as an active customer in past lives, or through customer research and kind of the early days of setting out Teamera. Everybody struggles with finding the right people for the role, and most companies, like especially most smaller mid-sized companies, they're bringing in freelance talent of people that they already know. Like freelance marketplaces they're kind of a last resort to hire from in the first place, because it takes a lot of work to find good talent. And certainly they're a last resort for talent. The best freelancers that are out there are constantly booked through word of mouth. They're not having to spend time putting up profiles on marketplaces. And there's a time and place for marketplaces. I don't want to get too down on that. But the point is that the best talent that you that's kind of in your world, you probably already know. And so we're building tools that help them manage people that they already know. But the other pain points that we're talking about, that we're actively trying to work towards, is budget management. I think that's a huge one. You're a department lead, you've been given a budget for a new initiative, and you're bringing in people as you find them. Hey, I got a great copywriter. Hey, I've got a great visual artist. And you start adding up the numbers and you say, oh, I can't afford that, or I need to go back to finance to ask for more budget, or I need to cut budget from another project to make this team work. And that can all be solved pretty quickly through a little bit of technology and knowing folks' rates and knowing their time estimates. It's a really visual set of tools that we're providing that says, yep, this team matches your budget. Oh, you've still got more to spend. Oh, if you add that person, you're going to be over. And it makes it really simple to build a team. And before you lock in contracts, know that they either fit or don't fit your budget. And then following on to that, being able to track spend according to the budget is another piece of the puzzle, right? That we're definitely trying to solve, that I'm excited to bring to the table, because I think it has a ton of value in terms of budget tracking and scope burn.
And the other thing was the diversity metrics that you've talked about.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. And so, and I think I've said this a couple times within these conversations, is like every single report that's ever been made on this topic shows that diverse teams produce better work. And I'm really excited to build something that will help brands understand how that works for them. And ultimately, it starts with very basic information about who's on your team. Are you over-indexing on white women? Are you over-indexing, on Latinx men? Does it match? Does your team? The goal is for your team demographic to match the makeup of your audience, right? Because you want the same voices, like I said, behind the lens that you're trying to speak to, on the other side of the mic. And so what we do, like, it's really simple stuff, but we're asking talent to provide their diversity demo stats. And then we're able to help build teams that match parameters that brands put in based on their audience. And it doesn't force anything. You know what I mean? You're not being forced into building teams of any specific makeup, but it's a helpful flag, right? Like, I think that this is the thing, is like that we can surface some awareness for hiring managers, saying, oh yeah, this team that I'm thinking about, oh, they fit my budget, oh, they fit my timeline, but they all sure look homogenous. It's like having a moment of pause to consider that before you lock a team in is a helpful thing for us to provide to the industry. And then, like I said, beyond this, what we really want to be able to do with our team performance data is to be able to prove that those teams that are matching the makeup of a customer audience are truly producing better work. That's going to take some time to prove out, like as campaigns are created, as data is collected on marketing initiatives. But it's something that long-term, I'm really excited about being able to show in the numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So the pain points we're meeting. So, managers that are looking to bring on 5 to 50 freelancers,
right?
That's that don't have, one of those bigger tools that does it all. And sometimes doing it all is a little even much. And sometimes that's even managed by other teams because it's such a big tool and it hits so many departments. So, we're hoping to really give something that gives that manager enough control, but still the other people are doing the work, but they're able to see exactly what it is they're managing too, without having to go ask for help. And over time to build out that much stronger network knowledge that they have, and then to be able to measure it. Is there anything else you wanted to add on this topic?
Well, I think we can talk about recruiting support and how we want to approach our, building our network partnerships, building our referral network. I think that we can talk about that maybe in a follow-on session. Okay. But I think that one of the other pain points that we know to be true is if you don't know great talent, you need a good source for great talent. And we're also working on having some integrated solutions within our Team Era system that will help answer that need as well.
Right. Great. Okay. And what about the focus for this week for the company?
Yeah, quick. We'll be quick so we can stay on time. But I think that our demos are available. I hope to be running through customer demos this week. This is exciting because we can start to see some reactions to the product itself. If anybody is curious, definitely book a demo on teamera.co. I would love to take you through it and hear your thoughts. That's my little plug. And then the second piece that our team is working on is our first piece of truly interactive, an interactive tool for customers to help identify when it makes sense to bring on an agency team and when it makes sense to build a flexible team for themselves. And, this is kind of in marketing speak, meant to be a lead magnet. But ultimately, I'm really interested in creating genuinely useful tools for companies to help understand when and where it makes sense to bring on a flexible team. And so we've built out kind of the logistics base for this tool already, and we're just working on the design this week. So that'll be a fun thing to roll out. I'm excited to see how people use it and see what conclusions they come to as well.
Right. And my hope is that by next week we can have that out for people, because I liked even just tinkering with it, in its kind of basic state that we designed on. I think it's really interesting, way to go, oh, okay, yeah, this is an easy way for me to see, do I stay the way my current course, or is it time to maybe take that step to bringing, some people, it doesn't mean they don't still stay freelance, but that they kind of come and get managed in-house instead. So
there's all sorts of different team makeups that compromise flexible team support these days.
Right.
And so helping companies understand what it means from them, both from a budget perspective as well as, a talent perspective of having talent close to them, I think is something that we want to help solve for.
Yeah, great. Okay. Talk to you later this week.
Chat on Thursday.
All right.
Bye.